organizations where when we put ourselves together as young people to bring up this organization, they family look at it and they saw it necessary to give us the opportunity. And somebody cannot be scratching your back and then you cannot scratch your stomach.
No way.
So we are doing everything possible out there for us to scratch at least for us to get our stomach. Okay.
Right.
We want to say our guest is already in studio because of time. Because of time, our guest is already in studio, so we will not waste much of our time there. We will go straight to our talking point. Yeah, because of time, so we'll go straight into our talking point. We want to say, sir, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you. Let me just apologize for my very late arrival.
Yeah, he told me said you're in a meeting.
Yes.
Yeah, so well, thank you for at least honoring our invite.
Thank you. I consider this to be an honor to be in the studio. The last time we had to do the interview by phone,
Back from yes.
but today I'm live in the studio, so I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for coming.
is it your first time here or you have been here?
This is my first time.
Wow, it's a blessing.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Do you have?
Yeah, I want to say welcome to our guest for coming. Was ready, worrying. Yeah, because time, but thank God you are here now.
Yes, it's better late than never.
Okay.
Okay, so we keep the ball rolling because we are here to discuss some national issues. And firstly, we will look at how is white Liberia.
Well, so far I want to be grateful to God for the opportunity. Wired is strong. We are moving. Everything is moving well for us. This since April we've been getting series of examinations. We started with the national exam from the end part of April, and now we are now in the international exam. We have gone 8 days. We are left with 3 more days.
You have gone eight days.
Yes,
And about 3 more days.
certainly.
Okay. Yeah, my colleagues, there. Arthur,
Oh well, Mr. Bodo, I want to say thank you for being here. Let's see. With the issue of why, so since the administering of the test, how have the results been like?
Okay, so far things have been normal.
Mm-hmm.
The exam has been administered smoothly.
Okay.
We have not had incident where we will hear people saying, "Oh look, we have the students they could not do the test today because the test did not arrive on time."
Okay.
We have had issues where maybe instead of starting 8:30, we have set up at 8:40, 8:45, or even at times 9 o'clock. What I can say is that all of our tests since we started on 2015, we have been able to successfully administer all the tests in all 15 countries, plus Guinea, without major issues.
I'm not really cutting you up, but you mentioned Guinea, and there are some news coming out that Guinea have not been part of ECOWAS. How can Guinea be part of that test?
Okay, so we have three schools,
Mhm.
three Liberian schools
Mhm.
in Guinea.
In Guinea?
Yes, they normally call themselves international schools.
Okay.
So they are skirting from the Liberian curriculum. Oh, okay. So over the years, what they have been doing, they came out to the school in Guinea, and then they will come to Kanta because they are closer to Kanta.
Okay.
They will come to Kanta and register the students from the schools on the schools in Kanta, even though they are not attending schools in Kanta. And they have been taking this exam. Well, I'm close to 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah, so in 2022, the Ministry of Education and WAEC entered an agreement that once these kids are studying from the national curriculum and the national curriculum, instead of them coming to register on schools in Kanta, we should allow them to do the test on the schools. And instead of them coming to do the test again in Kanta, we could go to them and do and conduct the test. So WAEC Ministry of Education and Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we enter into an agreement
Okay.
and we don't commit since last year. We commit tests to three schools in Guinea.
So is the government taking full responsibility
yes.
of the candidates' enrollment to the white test?
Certainly, so for the 12th grade exam,
The top.
your government pays for the students as well.
All right. Yeah.
Okay, my question is, what has been the challenge of WAS as relate to the administering of the text in Liberia, especially rural areas?
Okay,
What are
so
some challenges?
the major challenge we have now is examination malpractice.
Okay.
Examination malpractice. I want to be grateful to report that the government pay for the candidates working exam.
Okay.
So with money, we now have problem with the money because the government pay the money, and we have to get the money in time.
Okay.
So we're able to make the necessary arrangements, for the successful conduct of the exam. But another thing is that for now the rules are not developed yet.
Okay.
So we are able to leave from here today and reach any part of that road today.
Smooth road.
Yeah, smooth road. Even though maybe the team may get there late, we are not encounter issues of us leaving a day and we cannot get to the center. So we don't have much issue with that. But when it comes to other forms of examination malpractice, it's a serious challenge. We live in the digital age and people are doing everything humanly speaking possible to cheat at all costs.
Okay.
People get that.
Okay.
They want to cheat at all costs. And this is training us down because we are determined to make sure that we prevent them from cheating. However, we have been successful to some extent working with state security actors. We have been able to arrest a good number of people,
Mm.
and I can say uh, that those who have been arrested will be investigated by the police and will be prosecuted. Just imagine at one of the centers in Morocco,
Mhm.
we had a situation where, according to the impersonator,
Okay.
somebody is sick and the person did not show up to do the exam. So someone else went to do the exam for that person in that person's name. The person is not sitting with the most students that do the test.
Let really come to that. Where you talk about somebody going to replace another person because the person is ill.
Yes.
What measure why Liberia is putting in place when it comes to that?
Firstly, nobody's supposed to go to test for anybody. This exam is school exam. So we don't know the students in the schools.
Okay.
We expect the schools to know their own students.
All right.
But then the schools are not helping the process. It is a school that is at a now. They know that the student is a person. And it is either somebody in front of it is either the assistant school director.
But I think all of the students register on a white Liberia, the listing are all of you.
Yes,
And if you put up the candidates' names are right, and if on the day of the test, I think you have a supervisor who supervises the test.
sure.
So if that kind of things is happening, and then why is the role of the supervisor there?
And that's why it becomes a challenge for us. That's why I say examination malpractice. So the school authorities allegedly, to be careful, allegedly could not with the supervisor and the proctors so that this fellow could do the test or the candidate who
It's ill.
is ill.
Yeah.
So they took this person. In fact, if he had just worn his uniform, we wouldn't have known. But they took him, they carried him a special room. He's sitting in that room. Yes. He
That was
taking the
not
test
playing
there.
properly.
And then after doing the test, they will come and bring his answer sheet and they will smuggle in one, the other candidate's answer sheet. They were doing it until someone tip us off. Someone call us attention that look, there's a special room. Somebody who is not experienced in the test. And when we went there, we grab him right and because we got a tip off. So we went there, we went to that particular room, we wanted to meet him there, answer him question, but why are you we're not students, we shouldn't be doing this test. Why are you? And so we brought him over, we returned him to the police and he admitted that he's actually taking the test for us. And he pointed at one of the proctors who is at the center as being the person who was always giving the paper to him.
Okay.
And after the test, that person would
After
to
they
him,
did in the process.
and they would take his responses from him. And they would carry his license. They won't send this May 15. And also the police too is investigating such person. I don't want to preempt the investigation, but you know that the culprit has already admitted to his guilt.
And this just coming to the media. Is the media been aware of it?
It happened. It happened. Today is what today is Saturday, right?
Yeah, today
Yes.
Saturday,
Yes,
today
it just
is the
happened
news.
testing that.
Testing.
Yes, we got the information tested. We apprehended him with assistant of the police on Thursday, and we tell him what to the police yesterday.
Okay, so let's go to the leadership structures of WIC. You know, I've been listening to the name Dagoto for a very long period of times when I was even in high school.
Mm.
And it's my first time when it's a pleasure meeting you. Yes, because I've been hearing that name. When it comes to the leadership structure, is it a lifetime something or is it a rotational process?
Okay, so firstly, WIRE is an autonomous agency. WIRE is not a government status.
Okay,
So WIRE operates on to a convention,
conference.
and we are 5 countries, and the governments of these countries signs this convention of that WIRE to operate in these countries.
Okay,
So the head of WIRE is in Ghana,
okay,
where our headquarters is situated, and is referred to as the registrar. But we have a board, a governing board. So we are the secretariat, we carry on the day-to-day affairs of the organization, and we report to the board. The board is headed by a chairman. The chairmanship is rotated among the countries. So every 15 years, each country will have the opportunity to nominate one of its permanent citizens to serve as chairman. So the last person that served as chairman from Liberia was Tata Evelyn D. Evelyn S. Kalanta. She served from 2015 to 2018, and that opportunity will not come back to us until 2030.
it's not easy.
Yeah, so the current chairman is from Sierra Leone. So he's going to serve from 2024, serving from 2024 to 2027. 2027, his chairmanship is going to go to Nigeria.
Material.
And then 2030 is going to come to us. So at the level of the secretariat, we work until we reach the age of retirement.
Okay,
Or you get involved in something,
then
that
you
kick
get out.
that kick out of the system.
Alright.
Until that, once you don't get involved in anything that will get you out of the system, you serve until you reach the retirement age. So in my case, I have served as head of national office for the past 8 years.
8 years.
Yeah,
Because
but-
the name have been around.
Oh yeah, so if you put the total years I have been with WIAC, I've been with WIAC for 20 years.
Wow.
Yes.
It's a blessing. Yeah, Fidel.
Okay, Mr. Brother. Many people do not look at 6 and 9 prayer tests. Is it as important as the 12 prayers?
It is equally important as the 12 years. In fact, what the government has done, government is going to use the NAF lesson for promotional purpose as well. For the 12 years, you need as a terminal class, high school, or is in secondary school, and then you go to university. So when the reason people see the 12 years of the important is because from there you either going to college or you going on the job market. What the government has done is that for the now for you to be able to be promoted to the senior high, you have to now pass both the school and the WIAC SM. So those who think that this SM has no relevance, it is not significant, you see that beginning this year, hopefully we'll release the now SM result by the 30th of June. Schools have not closed, so that schools can be in the know of the performance or the performances of the students. So we're doing the promotional, we're giving the students a report card, they say you are not eligible to go to the 10th grade because you passed both the school and WIAC. So people also begin to see the importance of the NAV research school. These SM are administered as a result of the completion of a particular level.
Okay.
So you see, we operate the 6334. We have a 6334 educational structure.
Okay.
We spend 6 years in elementary.
Mhm.
So before leaving elementary, you are tested at a level. Then you spend 3 years in the junior high.
in the junior high.
So before you leave the junior high, you go to the senior high. You are also tested in other countries. No one can leave from what we call junior high. We call it junior secondary.
Yeah, junior secondary. The
Yes.
Ghanaians and Nigerians in
Yes.
Sierra Leone do it.
So they leave from junior secondary to senior secondary. He said we're all passing this exam. So the other countries do that. And hopefully this year we intend to support the Ministry of Education by releasing our results a bit earlier. One of the reasons why the ministry has not been able to enforce this policy in accordance with the 2011 Educational Reform Act is because WAEC can release the results after schools have closed. The schools have given out the promotional
Cuts.
report cards.
Cuts.
And children know that they are successful things. WAEC release results
yeah.
afterward. So it was like no need to wait. But this time around, we're going to release the results on June 30 when schools officially are still in operation.
Yeah, let me just can come in and we're talking about the ninth grader and that of the sixth grader. And most often I will base on the ninth grader. Let me say the sixth grader because from this from sixth grade to ninth grade, there are three classes within that setting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we will look at the subjects that students are sitting for. You think it's now much for students want to have more than 10 to 15 subjects.
Okay, so we don't know how many subjects. I'm not able to speak to the number of subjects that are being taught in the schools. What I can speak to is the number of subjects that we are examining. Commonly, we are examining 9 subjects.
Okay.
We are going to add about 24 more subjects to carry to 33. But it doesn't mean that a child is going to study 33 subjects.
Okay.
Or a child is going to do 33 subjects. What we're going to do is that the children will now have option to select a maximum of 9 for 33. As it is currently.
So
Yes.
will you include English and math because it's most important?
Yes, so English, mathematics, and civic education
Okay.
will be a must. So after you have selected English, you have selected mathematics, you have selected civics.
Okay.
You have the option of selecting. So you take a these 3 subjects you have about 30 more subjects.
Okay.
So for that 30 subjects, a child has the option of selecting a maximum of 6 more subjects. These subjects are mainly going to be vocational and technical subjects.
All right.
Vocational and technical subjects. So take for instance, a child that is attending BWI and that child is in trade school, doing auto mechanics in BWI, there are related courses that he does on BWI. So when he comes for the exam, he selects mathematics, English, and civics. He can now go and select maybe 3 related courses, 3 auto mechanic related courses, and that will bring him to 6, right?
Okay.
Then he can select any 3 other subjects. So you're not going to select, you're not going to study 15 subjects. Or you have 33 subjects to select a maximum of 9 subjects. A child that goes to a school that is teaching agriculture, they have courses, agriculture related courses. So you select the English, mathematics, and civics, and then you can select maybe 3 courses related to agriculture and so forth. We're also going to include among those 24 subjects, we are including Arabic. Yes, we are including Arabic, we are including Islamic studies.
And why is Liberia including Arabic? Because we usually speak English.
No, we have some schools that call themselves English and Arabic schools. So they are teaching English, they are teaching Arabic in those schools. They are Islamic schools. They are teaching Islamic studies in those schools. So we just want to give the students more options. Right? So instead of selecting for 9 subjects, you have 33 subjects to select now from. So the subjects will be diverse. We are also including French. We are including PE.
Wow.
So you can look at the subjects and you're supposed to do 9 subjects, but you are forced to do English,
And
math, and
and
civics.
civics.
After those 3 subjects, you
You
can
talk, I'm
select.
not cutting you off, but you talk about PE, so what more about Bible?
We also include quite Christian religious studies.
What about French?
French is also part of it.
But
So we're including French.
When I say subject, we notice that some school are doing art and science.
So,
What is it all about?
so you have 33 subjects. Whether you are art, you are science, you are technical or vocational student, you have 33 subjects to select from. So if you are a science student, right, you select your English, you select your mathematics, you select your, how you call it, your civics.
That's it.
Then if you are a science student, we add another layer to the mathematics. We call it follow mathematics. So by the time you select follow mathematics, you have four subjects already. You can select any three other subject, biology, chemistry, physics. Then you don't need to do geography, you don't need to do literature. The thing there is to give the children more options, so that they can do courses or subjects that they are comfortable with. And as child is going to school, the child say, I want to pursue my career path in arts. But you're forcing him to do chemistry. You're forcing him to do physics, right? So what that does is that because the child doesn't have interest in these courses, the performance of those who don't have interest in those subjects will be a bit lower, and we always portray this image that our students are underperforming. Whereas if we allow them to be selective, they select those courses that they're interested in, those courses that they have aptitude for, you see that the narrative will be different.
Then let's go back to the training aspect because the student there have to be trained within that area and to get adapted to a new system is something that found a little difficult in Liberia. What Wyatt will be doing when it comes to the teaching aspect in the
So
curriculums.
thank you. So what we are not going to do is to say, come and do auto mechanic when you're saying
Mhm.
when your school is not teaching you auto mechanic. When your school is not teaching you carpentry, we don't say come to carpentry on the exam.
Okay.
In order for you to do these technical and vocational subjects, your school must be offering these subjects. So I just use BWI as an example. BWI, you go to BWI, you see some students between home management.
Is
Right?
is it in line with the Ministry of Education?
Oh yes, it is in line with the Ministry of
So,
Education.
which means that the Ministry of Education will place it in the curriculum
Oh,
that
yeah.
students should be doing that subject.
In fact, the ministry is now placing emphasis on the teaching of TVET, technical and vocational
Training.
education, yes, in the school system. They said so many teachers when all of them went for training in these technical subject areas so that they can come back and teach these courses. So they are back and they are teaching them. And you and I know that not multilateral, but I call it PWI. PWI teaches the technical courses.
Okay.
Tottenham
Talk me how, yes.
used to have a vibrant vocational program, technical and vocational program. I'm sure by the time we introduce these courses on the assembly, we introduce the technical subjects in these. In Tottenham, in fact, drafting is another subject that will be added. You have electronics, you have music. The subjects are so many. They are just intended to give the children option. So the courses that they are pursuing in their high schools, and they can have those opportunity of doing those subjects on examination.
Okay, let me bring Hatak Damashas.
Oh, sir, thanks ever so much. Uh, with the issue of
The best people you can talk to now is the people doing the test now. Talk to them. I highlighted from the beginning that our greatest challenge is examination malpractice, right?
Okay, you said it.
Yes. And I'm not the best judge. The people who are taking the test, ask them whether they can have access to the test or tell them the name for the test starts. Just ask them. I'm not the best person, to
Okay.
but I can tell you that we have measures in place, and no one is going to have access. The test that they have taken for the past 8 days in Liberia, no one has access to our test before the time the test will start.
is why I'm really like against or Kevin.
100%. We send the tools and don'ts to uh, communities. Well, we cannot confirm the news that we have heard because they are not being brought to our attention officially. But look, there are a lot of things that happen when people go for camp.
Plenty.
And as a result of that, when the children go for the test, on the day of the test, they're not in the right frame of mind. They are sleeping because they did not sleep the night before. And so we are strongly against camping. We are strongly against the collection of flexibility fees. People should not pay flexibility fee. I'm not quick. I don't want to be judgmental, and I'm not preempting the result. But I can tell you that this year the result will be will not be encouraging
Wow.
because
From which
people not for a particular center. I'm speaking from
We
what
talking about you talking about the general
yeah from the
and the
general
general perspective.
people are answering questions that are not on the test.
Wow.
How
Okay.
will they answer
Yeah.
questions you in 12th grade? And take for instance, they give you a test and they did not draw cell phone. I just give you cell phone as an example,
All
right?
right. Yeah.
And you drawing cell phone. You're talking about cell phone whenever I ask you there is no question on the test that asks you about cell phone, yet you drawing cell phone.
But then this person have to come in to you as the boss of wine. Looking at the you will start to practice before the time to the test. So they will call you in one classroom and start to educate you on the test. But if you get to the classroom where you about to take the test, you will find what you have learned is different from what we have been taught about. How can Wire stop? How can Wire and put stop to?
Why we have measures in place, to curtail some of these things, like the question you asked earlier. Last year, we arrested some people, and the people are being prosecuted. And from what we're seeing this year, those people that were arrested last year, they were the ones responsible for circulating our test maybe days. I don't want to say days, but days before they actually be a minister. Those people, maybe they still have the collaborators around, but because of the way those people who were arrested last year, the way they have been treated this year, and with all additional security measures we adopted, we have put into place. Nobody has I can name that much else. And nobody has our test. But what is being done now is that by the time you circulate the test at the SM center, why do you think the teachers are forcing themselves going to the SM or they want to get the question papers or if the children had the test the day before? You think teachers will want to force themselves to get the actual question paper when the question papers are being distributed? Our serious problem we have so many persons and the police is coming and investigating. I want to praise the Liberia National Police because they are collaborating with us because they are forcing themselves that going to the test or they have a place they call dark rooms where when they get at the center, we manage to either snap, take a photo of the question.
Is it phone allowed to enter in
Phones
examination
are
house?
not allowed. Phones are not allowed, but evil towards when people have evil intent, they will still go ahead and smuggle the phones into the exam hall. Look, it is not possible for us to be at all of the centers. But we adopted so many measures this year. We have plainclothes security officers that are assigned at all of the centers. Unfortunately, we could not have them at all of the centers.
Yeah,
If I tell
Again,
you,
Mr. But I'm not cutting you off,
Mhm.
but we noticed that some schools will not graduate before WAEC results. What does WAEC do in such case?
so this year, firstly, that's the policy of the Ministry of Education. And what we do is to support the Ministry of Education. I can inform the public that this year our results will be on or before for 12th grade, on or before August 15. And the ministry has said nobody should pass August 15. Last year we had a situation where we should have released a result in August and we went in September. Some people will not wait. This
Mm.
year, this year we're not going to pass August
But is
15.
there any farm if you graduate
Yes,
your students before result?
yes, the ministry imposes fine.
Okay.
I remember, I think 2 or 3 years ago, there were some issues with two schools, Rick and Hail Mission.
And here we mention
Yes,
yes.
Okay, one
Yes.
waiting
Mission,
there.
yes.
Yeah.
And when things were not too okay, they were all in the press and so forth. And in the end, I think those schools ended up paying fines that the ministry imposed on them, and the permits were not revoked. But the ministry reserves the right to revoke the operational permit of any school that goes against its how you call it, its policy.
Okay, it is a reminder if you are just joining up, you are listening to Blaze Radio 90.7 and we are in conversation with Wire Box. Yeah, we're discussing about some national issues surrounding the current test and that of the administration's project. So if you are there, you want to make your contribution on this program, you can call us on 077907907 and 107 or 0777917 rather and 0887111 and 111. Yeah, today you want to say something. Okay, you can put your call through as we in conversation with White Boss Liberia. And I want to ask this question. We talk about that of the measures being put in place when it comes to students who or schools who will violate that of the law, putting graduates out before the main date of result. Then how about the ninth grader and that of the sixth grader?
So, like I indicated previously, the ministry has a policy that in order for you to leave from now to group you should pass both the school and WIAC. So, we've told the ministry that this year's result for NAFTA
Okay,
will be out by June 30th.
by June 30th.
Yes. But then schools will still be in operation. Schools, the school year will work in there.
June or July?
June 30th.
Okay, June 30th. And
Six and nine results will
when
be
the
out.
test will be
Yeah.
finishing?
The 12th with us is August 15th. The 12th with us finishing on June 10th.
On June 10th.
Yeah, so we will be finishing, we'll be releasing the result on August 15th.
But let's go to the correction of the papers.
Mhm.
If you come out to say you will release the result on June 30th,
Yes.
so before that time, will the papers be corrected?
Okay, so for the other exams that we gave earlier, the ninth graders, the sixth graders, and the third graders, it is only the ninth graders that did both objective and essay.
Okay.
So for all of our exams, the objective papers are marked a machine. They are scored by machine. So we don't have issue with them. It is only the essay component that we use some of these to score. So the nav graders, yes, we are using some of these to mark the essay component for the nav lesson. That's why we have set the release date at June 30th. If human beings were not scoring or using machine, we will release it a bit earlier. For the third and sixth grade, it won't be any problem for us because no human being will be scoring his machine as going to school. So we don't have problem with that.
Yeah, Mr. Boto, let's look at the future outlook of Wire Liberia. What innovation or reform or should we expect from Wire Liberia in the next year?
So we've working with the Ministry of Education. Hopefully in 2026 we'll be introducing computer-based testing.
What's the computer-based testing?
So the candidates will use computer to do the test.
Wow.
But in 2026 we are not going to go we'll run a parallel form of testing. We still have the pen and paper based testing, which is the traditional way of testing. Then we'll have the computer based testing. Because we realize that most of the schools don't have the infrastructure in place to support computer based testing. The government has indicated to us that all of the public schools, senior high schools, will have computer in place because they have the infrastructure in place to support the computer based testing. So we'll try on a pilot, we'll start on a pilot basis. We'll start with the public schools. So once the public, even if we can go through all the country with public schools, even if we do 10 schools, the fact of the matter is we have elevated the process to another level, right?
Computer-based
So
testing.
students will not, and the students, once you do the test on the computer, it's far much easier. You don't have much time to mark because you have the responses, we're just press button and you'll be school. The essay component, human beings, the way human beings will mark the essay component, the digital form is different from the way they mark the hard copy. For the hard copy, we'll take an entire student paper and we'll give it to them and we'll see the student name and so forth. But for the digital form, you don't want to see any student's name. All you're going to do is receive responses, but you don't know who is providing those responses,
Yeah.
and you're just going to mark them. So for us, the future of WIAC exam is not pen and paper. The future of WIAC exam is digital, and that's where we'll be going in 2026.
Okay, let me announce the number for those who want to partake in the program. You can call on 077-907-907-0887-111-107. I repeat, you can call us on 077 907 to be part of our program. Yes, you were speaking, sir.
Yeah, so next year, too, like I've indicated, next year we're not just be introducing technical and vocational subjects on the SN, but students in Liberia will join the counterparts in Nigeria because Nigeria, for now, Nigeria is the only country that has introduced computer-based testing, even though they are not on full scale yet. They have some of their schools doing computer-based testing, some schools still doing the traditional uh, method of testing. So next year too, Liberia will be the second country to join Nigeria, where our students will be doing computer-based testing. We answer the questions will appear on the screen, and we use a screen to answer. We use a computer to answer the question, and that comes with its own challenges. So what we started working with the Ministry of Education in order for us to test these kids using computer, or for the kids to use computer to answer the questions, they should also be able to use computer to answer the school's tests.
But with the ministry provide computers to the various schools.
They have indicated the reason we're starting with the public schools is because the ministry has provided ministry has provided computers to those schools.
How
So
many schools are we talking about? So,
we're talking about 150, close to 150, 60 schools.
do you think that government have funding for that, or is it top notch that is sponsoring that
I'm,
initiative?
I'm not talking about something that will be done. The ministry told us that they have already provided.
But have you people gone to do your background
So
investigation to know whether it's true?
what we're going to do is we're going to do we'll validate the process. We'll visit some of the schools and necessarily all the schools to see that the infrastructure that the ministry has indicated that are available, the infrastructure will support a full class online testing. So we'll go there and convince ourselves. Oh, we went to the place and we realized that the school has about 200 students and you don't have 10 computers in that school. You know that that school is not capacitated to support a full online testing. But as I speak to you, we are taking the ministry of what she has for us, and
So
we work with a long term.
let's go to credibility when it comes to the online testing. How credible is that?
Even I know that people can hack, but I'm more confident and we are more confident working with a secure department which has to do with the deployment of our tests digitally than the way we do it now. And, because with that, our test for now, we have to move our test into the counties at least a day before the exam will begin.
Okay.
But for online testing, I can deploy my test to that particular website or that particular server a few minutes before the test is supposed to begin. And so it will be within a secured environment, and you can only have access to a few minutes for the test. So I think in terms of credibility, when we really want to conduct credible examination, then online testing should be the feature. I'm not saying that everything is rosy about online testing. Online testing has its own challenges. But if you weigh the benefits as against that of the traditional way of testing, then online testing is more preferable than the traditional way of testing. We have we have gone for some trainings, we have some training where I collaborated with the Educational Testing Service in the US, ETS. I think you have heard about tests such as SAT.
Yes. So
Then you have some exam they call SAT test, GRE, GMAT, and so forth. ETS is responsible for the test, and we collaborating with them. We want to see how best we can leverage on AI. We can use AI, to help us in the work that we do at the level of assessment.
So let's go back to students that will be sitting for that test. And I believe that it will be within a various centers that will be selected by WIAC. And students will be sitting behind their computers to answer the question.
So
Do you don't think that students can also use that money to the internet to answer the question while they are on their computer?
I will not disclose all of the strategies and all of the methods that we are going to deploy. The reason is, the fosters always want to be ahead of us, right?
Yeah.
So we too are planning to be one step or 5 steps ahead of them. So by the time I take the air away and start telling you, look, we go to online testing, this is what we do it. There are two ways we can do it. When we say it is online, we don't necessarily have to make it, we don't necessarily pass it through internet, right?
All right.
We can have secure servers that we can put the test on and people can take the test.
Okay.
Okay, so by doing that, people once you don't have access to our server, you won't have access to the test. Another way we can do it is instead of how you see a secure server, we still use a secure online server too. And you must have login credential. In the absence of the login credential or secure login credential, you cannot have access to the test items. We know there will be hackers, especially when you're dealing with internet, there will be hackers. But we do have measures in place to counter those who will want to hack the SM. The good thing is that Liberia will not be the first country that will be getting online testing. We have sophisticated countries, sophisticated advanced countries already giving tests digitally. So I don't think it will be
Let me bring item dimensions.
Yeah, Mr. Bozo, with the computer-based testing, would it be a registration of an online process also?
Oh, thank you. We've also concluded arrangements with the Ministry of Education that beginning next year, the students will use their phone to the registration
To register online.
to register online. Currently, the schools are registering the students, but we're having challenges. Take for instance, government is paying for these students. We gave each school 650 slots, and we tell them, look, if you have more than 650 students, first exhaust the 650 that we give you, we come back to us with the additional. And school will they'll put in 40 names. Then at the end of the day, they'll put in 40 names and they draw 610, around 610 slots away. Few days later, they will come, we made a mistake. We left for 5 names. We made a mistake. We left for 32 names. So it beats our imagination. How possible to say, don't you know the number of students you have in your school? So we had series of engagement with the Ministry of Education and the two of them. Is it possible for this work to be done on the phone? Because some schools are charging these kids exorbitantly to do the registration. You should not be charging anybody 500 to do the registration. So we agree with them. Okay, the schools have their login details. All they need to do give the children the login details. This is our school code. Put our code in. This is our password. Put the password in, and just fill in the form for yourself. So it should not even take more than 2 days for all the students in the school to be registered. Because why? One person is not going to sit before the computer. You're just going to use a phone and just fill in the form. And the forms are not difficult to fill up. They use the form, they fill out the form, and they just show the phone to their faces and snap the
Their
photo.
picture.
Yes. So it's just not a bit difficult. But with higher education schools and schools are voting, we want to go against it. We're not allowed to have it, but we don't have option. If they want for the children to do the test, and the children obviously have to take the test in their own rights.
Okay, let me bring my comrade in here.
Yeah, Mr. Buddha. We all hear about resettlement, but most people out there do not know what is resettlement. So I just want to make some emphasis on that.
Okay, so we don't call it SM research again.
Okay?
We call it public candidates SM. The reason is the word researcher has a negative connotation.
Okay.
People, someone will think they say researcher, the first thing that comes to my mind is that the person sat the SM before
In
and
the
they failed.
field. Okay.
But somebody who have sat the SM before, pass and say, I want to improve my grades.
So how many subjects do you need to pass?
But for researchers, you have the option of selecting between 1 and 9 subjects. So you don't have to come
So
into one now.
is it good for you to go another institution or school institution, or can you go privately, individually to
No,
do
no,
the
no, no,
test?
no, no. No, researchers don't go on school.
Why?
But that's not the purpose for it.
But if I have attended XYZ school and I didn't make it, and the school is trying to accept me back in the system, and I want to use my school name to take the test, can you accept me?
There's no problem, provided you go back to school and sit in class.
Wow.
So if you took the test, let's say 2023,
Okay.
as a school candidate, right?
Mhm.
And you were not successful, You want to come back 2025 to take this test on your school.
Yeah.
We will not have problem with this if you go back to school.
But there will be will there be, let me just say, a security task force that will be observing whether this
No,
person.
no, there will be no security tax school.
Mhm.
But if you did not go back to school 2025,
Okay.
then your documents may be contradictory. Because we will put on the certificate 2025 that you were in school.
Yeah, but it's okay. The school will say
Mhm.
we give you Saturday or we give you Friday. You can
No,
attend classes.
No, no, that's not what we're
and
talking about. That's not what we're talking about.
Okay.
So that's not what we're talking about.
Okay.
He said
So
you
if you
sit
want
from
to
the
go
12th
back, if you want to go back to sit with the school, go back and sit in the 12th.
So which means you have to begin from
Wow.
September.
So I know why I'm talking. Someone just brought this to our attention that some people sitting in the SM, they sat before they say we're doing research as this is how research SM. They don't know the consequences of their action.
Mhm.
In the very first place, somebody who took the test 2020, they just come in, I created 2020. And I already in college, I'm a senior student. I brought up career from college. Then I'm going to sit the test with my school. You don't have problem with it to sit with your school. But we will put on your certificate that you were in school 2025.
You went later again.
2025, you graduated from high school.
Okay.
That's why we will put on the certificate.
That's
It is written on the certificate that you were in school, you attended school in 2025. So if you carry a certificate says you attended school 2025, you are in high school 2025, then you carry another diploma that says that you graduated 2020. A contractation, you will see how you can settle the contractation. You can ask a visitor because we have another certificate that for perfect clinics.
Okay.
We don't consider it to be school clinic that one.
Alright.
It doesn't matter when you took the SM. You may not even have taken the SM before. You can even be in a long way and you can come and sit the SM. It doesn't matter.
All right.
Okay, my last question for now is can a pregnant woman sit for what?
So we don't want to appear as being discriminatory. If the school allows a pregnant woman to go to school, right? We send an artist slip to you and give the pregnant woman an artist slip without another person.
Okay.
So let's go to the disability people. The disability people to also those who are physically challenged. We call it the physically challenged people. When in taking tests, how do white Liberia?
So we cater for some forms of disability that all. Like those who are physically challenged, maybe they have problem with walking and so forth. We just for now we don't pay special attention to them. The only disability we pay attention to currently are those who are visually impaired
Okay.
and those who have hearing impairment. We cater to them. For the visually impairment, what we do is we pre-roll the questions. So as they are taking a test, for instance, we don't allow them to do mathematics now. So Tuesday they won't be doing tests. Even though some people are agitating that we are discriminating, there are some blind mathematicians, officially impaired mathematicians.
All right.
So we should allow them to take mathematics. But for now, we don't allow them to do mathematics. We don't allow them to do chemistry. We don't allow them to do physics and any other job. I mean, any other subject that has what drawing, diagram, the geography, when you ask them to say sketch a map or so forth, or you to do a table and you expect them to answer it, you say in a tabular form, we don't allow them to do such for now. Those particular subjects, we don't do them, we exempt them from doing those subjects. So we only cater to cater for how you call it the visually impaired and the other
Okay.
form of disability for now.
We are going into another program time, and we just want to, because of time, we want you to make a passing comment.
Again, I want to appreciate you for the opportunity you've given me. I'm going to take this station to be one of my best stations. I live in Tobago.
Yeah, we're going to say.
Yes. The last time you called me, I couldn't come in person. I'm excited being in person and excited about the engagement.
Yeah.
I want to speak to those who will be doing the test on Tuesday mathematics. Firstly, I want to tell them that the mathematics we're giving, the questions are different.
All right.
The questions are different. So when I'm talking about the questions are different, you have schools in the belt. I'm not answering the same questions. So
Why?
that's one of our strategies.
All right.
And one of our strategies. So nobody will just take question for anywhere and they say they bring it to you, and then
Test lead.
they say test leak.
Test
They say
leak.
number one, I see number two like this one, and they just go in the testing hall and you start answering. See, you're not looking at the question. Some of the questions may be difficult, but there be some simple questions. So I want to call on those who are taking the test. They have the potential to succeed. They can succeed. They should not allow anybody to deceive them. They should not give a cent to anybody. If they pay money to anybody, they are paying for their failure. So when we release a result and they fail, then they must celebrate because they paid for them to fail. If they pay money to people
All right.
and we cancel the result, they must celebrate because they paid
Because
for us to cancel. Why does not receive money for anybody? They are paying money to supervisors, proctors, on
Flexibility.
they have to call it flexibility fee. The people eating their money free. Free.
all right,
Yes,
all right,
and
all right.
they should not do that.
All right. Thank you very much for that strong message sent out to the public, and thank you for honoring our invite today.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
it's a pleasure.
Fidel, your party comment.
Yeah. I want to say thank you, Mr. Butler, for coming. I want to thank you to my listening audience out there who put
I just want to encourage our colleagues, students out there who will be writing the test on Tuesday, and those that are writing WAS. Flexibility fee, don't pay flexibility fee.
Thank you.
Paying flexibility fee, you are paying for your failure.
Mm-hmm.
You are making or the plotter, supervisor, those that take the money, you are making them rich by the day. You should use that money for something else. Take your time, study whatsoever you have to study. Please, this is my advice and my encouragement to you. Yeah, I wish you success.
All right. Thank you very much, folks in Radio Land, for listening. You've been there paying your listening role